The Soviet military has always attached great importance to the use of artillery, but the geographical environment in which the Soviet Union is located is very poor. The vast territory and underdeveloped road infrastructure have made it a big problem to tow artillery during marches. Therefore, the Soviet Union has always attached great importance to the use of tracked towing vehicles. Before World War II, the Soviet Union designed and produced the STZ-5 artillery towing tractor, which became one of the important towing vehicles for the Soviet Army during World War II. The STZ-5 was designed by the Stalingrad Tractor Factory, and the project can be traced back to as early as 1933. At that time, the relevant industry in the Soviet Union was still in the development stage, and the development of the tractor drew on the Vickers Cardinaloid light tank and the TA-40 agricultural tractor. As a country that exudes military power everywhere, the plan was to develop a tracked vehicle for both military and civilian use. The project was eventually divided into the civilian STZ-3 and the military STZ-5. The size of the STZ-5 is not large. It weighs 5,840 kilograms, with a length of only 4.15 meters, a width of 1.855 meters, and a height of 2.36 meters. It is equipped with an MA-1 multi-fuel inline 4-cylinder engine with a rated output of 52 horsepower. Although the unit power is less than 10 horsepower/ton, the STZ-5 is not a model that pursues high speed, so it is barely sufficient. The tractor's gearbox has 5 forward gears and 1 reverse gear, and the running gear adopts the scheme of active wheels rearward, with 4 pairs of small-diameter idler wheels and 2 pairs of track-supporting wheels, with a maximum speed of 25 km per hour. The tractor has a closed cab above the engine compartment, with 2 large headlights on the front, rectangular windshields on both sides, and doors on both sides. Behind the cab is a small cargo box, where ammunition and other materials can be transported, and a few gunners can sit. The maximum load capacity is 1.5 tons. Since the main task is to tow artillery, the STZ-5 not only has excellent off-road driving capabilities, but it can also tow artillery weighing between 4.5 tons and 7.25 tons. For example, the widely used 85mm anti-aircraft gun and 76.2mm field gun by the Soviet Army during World War II can be easily towed, which were the main types of artillery used by the Soviet Army at that time. However, it is relatively more challenging to tow larger caliber howitzers, such as the nearly 8-ton ML-2152mm howitzer. The Soviet Union approved the production of the STZ-5 in 1935, but large-scale production did not begin until 1937 and continued until 1942. The total production was close to 10,000 units, making it one of the important towing tractors for the Soviet Army during World War II. The high production volume means that the German Army also captured some on the battlefield. The German Army called it the CT-3-601R. In 1942, the German company Stair designed and produced the RSO light tracked vehicle, which was very similar to the STZ-5, so it is not ruled out that it was influenced by the latter. The off-road performance of the STZ-5 was recognized by the soldiers, and it had high reliability and a low failure rate. The drawback is that the 30 cm narrow tracks and low-power engine make it perform poorly in muddy and snowy terrain. A small number of STZ-5s were modified to install the Katyusha rocket launcher system, becoming self-propelled rocket artillery and participating in some battles. In order to avoid damage from the rocket flames, the windshield and windows of the cab were fitted with steel plate protection. After the outbreak of the Great Patriotic War, the Soviet Union adjusted its industrial production and shifted to the heavy production of tanks. The STZ-5 was the only tracked artillery towing vehicle that continued to be produced. The Stalingrad Tractor Factory was only forced to stop production during the Battle of Stalingrad. The time from the start of the war to the cessation of production was not short, and it was at least much easier to produce than tanks. One of the important reasons why the production volume did not exceed 10,000 was the lack of support for spare parts from other factories. The factory needed to allocate resources to produce all the components, and 6505 of the 9944 produced were manufactured after the war began.